Okay, hi. So I want to test audio, which is what I've been battling with for some time. Let's see if I can hear myself. Okay. Hi. I hope um I hope you guys are here. I'm trying to put my phone beside me so I can see and make sure that I'm not wasting my time. Considering I'll be sharing my screen, it means there's no way for me to see your comments and such. So please just give me a minute to get that sorted. Okay. Okay, so before I begin to create the design, I'm going to go through before I begin to create the design, I'm just going to go through uh, the presentation that I have here. This is like the intro, and a lot of the things we're going to be talking about. A lot of things that we're going to be talking about here today is tied to, we're going to have to deal with them in theory first before we get to the practical. Okay, so let's get started in here. Let's get started. I don't know why that song has just stuck to my brain for a while. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear that. That's water dripping somewhere in my house. I hope you can hear that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's get started. Hi. Welcome to Canva. Uh, for beginners, Canva is very detailed. Okay, so we're just going to scratch the surface, but I promise you, if you watch what I have here and you put everything to practice, you will definitely be able to use Canva effectively. So I don't need to introduce myself anymore. I guess you guys know me very well. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to talk about design tips. We're going to talk about font combinations. We're going to talk about color palettes. We're going to talk about Canva itself and its plans, the things you need to know about Canva. We're also going to be talking about design resources. Okay? So let's start with the design tips, right? I'm going to give you a couple of tips that are going to help you at the beginning. Number one, less is always more. Less is always more. That's one lesson a lot of people need to learn, even as regards their fashion, your interior design, everything. Less is always more. Trust me. That's how life is. So when you're creating designs, don't create designs that are too detailed, that are too busy. That's the word that I'm looking for, right? Simple designs, simple use of elements, use of simple fonts, and the rest will help you and make a huge difference in your design. So number two, be consistent with your images. Not necessarily, I'm not asking you to use the same image, but ensure that your images are complementary. Okay, your images will do a lot, would contribute to the beauty of your design. That is for sure. Now, white space is your best friend because it's easier to write where you have a white space rather than having to use an overlay. Okay, so look for images that have a lot of white space so that you can actually put your quotes or your words or your information, put it right there. The next one is you use an overlay to create a canvas for your text. For instance, the image you have chosen is very, very busy. If you put a text on an image that is busy, you will be unable um, to whatever it is you write on it will not really show as well as it should. Okay, so when you want to use a busy image, the first thing you need to do is create an overlay over that image, and then you write your text. The next thing is you use your dark font on your light background and vice versa. Okay, so no, don't use dark fonts on dark backgrounds or light fonts or light backgrounds. No, always ensure there's a contrast, right? Finally, don't forget to align your elements. What you do to the left, you do to the right. If you're not placing it to the left or to the right, then you place it right in the center, right in the middle, right in the center. Okay, always ensure that things work out that way. Great. So those are a few design tips that I have for you. The next thing I have for you is font combinations. Now you have different types of font, but you have four basic fonts. Number one, serif fonts. They refer to the type that has small embellishments at the end of each letter, at the end of each letter stroke, e.g. Arial. I don't know what this is called. Maybe it's Libra Baskerville or something like that. I honestly don't know. But this particular word that I'm reading, if you look at the bottom, at the end of each letter or the end of each stroke, there's an embellishment. Just look at it. Can you see? You see if you look at it clearly, I don't know if this one shows. Okay, so you can see somewhere here. If you just look at it clearly, you'd understand what. So fonts like this are serif fonts. Okay, so you have sans serif, which means without serif, which means this type has no feet or embellishment at the end of the strokes, e.g. Montserrat and Bieber. So look at this particular quote right now. If you look at it, it's just simple font. It doesn't have any embellishments unlike the first one. So here is a sans serif font. The next one is a decorative font. The most diverse group of fonts. This style is reserved for signage and headlines, but is rarely professional. Okay, the last one is a script. Now look at this. You can see it's in italics. This is why it is called a script font. So script fonts are often thought of as more fancy. They are more fancy kind of font, and each letter links to the next, e.g. dancing script. So if you look at every single word here, you realize that the letters go into the next, they go into the next, they go into the next. That's what is called a script font, like this one here. So those are the four major types of fonts that we have. So here I'm going to give you my tips for combining fonts. Number one, use a limited number of fonts on a graphic design or a document. Here's what I tell people. I choose 2 fonts, one decorative font or one script font, and then one sans serif font or one serif font. Okay, so choose just basically, you just make a choice of 2 maximum 3. The next thing is to create contrast with style, size, font weight, etc. etc. Why are watching too much, Jennifer? Okay, so when you're creating contrast, it means sometimes you could use, when you've chosen your fonts, you could choose to increase your font, maybe make it bold, right? Depending on what you want to use, what your intention is for that word. Maybe it's an action word, maybe it's a word you want to draw attention to. Then you might want to make it bold, you might want to make it italics, just something, and play around with your letters, with your font. Excuse me, don't just write something straight, right? Always create interest. Now, consider the length of a text before using a font. So if you're going to be talking, if the text is going to be quite long, then you don't want to use a script font because it might be very difficult to read. So you want to consider using a serif font in such a situation, okay? Because it's easier to read, especially when it is in box. So here I have some fonts recommendations for you. Now, these font recommendations are fonts. Some of these are fonts that you can find on Canva, the free option. Okay, but some of these what is it called now? Some of these fonts you may need to buy them, or you may need to download them on the internet and upload them to Canva. Now, Canva, the free plan does not allow you to upload fonts, but Canva Pro allows you to upload fonts. Okay, so here, this particular one, this September script, I downloaded it from font bundle or something like that, so you cannot find this one on Canva. It's always a good idea if you can do this, because it kind of gives you a different what's it called now, it kind of gives you something that not everybody has. Have you been to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and you see a lot of people use a particular kind of font, right? Because it's free and it's available for them to use. So you can also get free fonts that are that will still be kind of unique. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So here are a few options for you that you can pick from, or you can choose to make your own, what's it called now, combination. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to show you. I remember I mentioned I was going to show you how to create a color palette. So here I have colors.co. Let's leave it in the background. Let's leave it rolling, okay? Because network is somehow, it might take time. Okay, so let's discuss color palettes. Having a color palette allows you to work with colors that complement or contrast nicely with each other consistently. Now that's the word, consistently. So your color palette should have a minimum of 3 colors and a maximum of 5 colors. I already mentioned that this evening. Now all colors have a hex code, and in order to continually get the same shade of color, you need to know and use this code. Now that's the difference between me and you, right? The thing is this: a lot of people say my color is blue, and then you pick one blue here, right? And then when you want to use blue again, pick another blue. Are you listening? And then you realize those blues are a little different from each other. It's a problem. That's a problem. Okay, so the way to use the same colors consistently is to know the codes of those colors. The codes of those colors will help you, right? So every single time you need to create a design, all you need to do is just impute the codes of those colors, and you get the same color every single time. That's the trick to it. So don't just say my color is blue and then you pick one kind of blue today and pick another kind of blue tomorrow. We don't want that, right? So know your hex code and use it continuously. Now let's hope that this colors.co has the page is up so that we can just Oh my god. Great, so here is it. This is what colors.co is. This is what it looks like. So you're just going to come here and click start the generator. It's free. Now if you're a social media manager, you want to know tips like this and tricks like this, because it will help you. Some of your clients will come to you branded, some will come to you unbranded, and so this is a good way to brand your clients and come up with codes of colors that you'll be using, and so you can create a beautiful feed. Okay, so this is taking a little too long. What's going on? Okay, so this was something I was working on before. I'm just going to show you how to pick colors from an image. Now before I do that, if you look at the bottom of the screen here, you see some codes. Now these are the peculiar codes to this image. So in order to get this exact shade of color every single time, once you know this code, you can always come up with it. So this place is extremely important, but I'm going to show you how to come up with a picture. Remember I asked you to pick a picture that contains the color that you think your ideal client will find attractive, right? Okay, so here we're going to pick a color. So I'm just going to pick this design. I have this design here before. Let me just pick it up and let's see how it goes. Gosh, I'm so tired. This network is poor, man. And I need to show you guys how to create uh, a color palette of choice by picking a picture, a color from an image that you like. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to come up, let's just continue. So pick a color frame. So here, let's talk about Canva. Now you have two options in Canva. Um, the first option is the free option, and I'm going to share uh, the, the features with you. The free option has two folders for you to organize your designs. It has 1 GB of storage for your photos and your assets. It allows you to have access to over 8,000 templates. It allows you to upload your own images, of course, and it gives you access to millions of stock photos that you can buy for $1 each. Okay, those are the free options. But then you have Canva Pro, which was formerly known as Canva for Work. Now, Canva Pro allows you to have a brand kit management. So, if you check on the page, I'm sure you'd have realized that I put up a link to a brand kit for you. Basically, what Canva Pro allows you to do is it allows you to write out your kit. So you don't actually have to write out your color hex, the hex codes of your colors anymore. Okay, it already has it filled out for you. All you need to do is just select your pictures. It also allows you to resize your images. So for instance, you're posting to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. All these social media platforms have different image sizes. So imagine creating a design for Instagram and then having to replicate that design again for Facebook. It's tiring. So Canva for Pro allows you to just click resize and it automatically resize it for you, and then you can just drag the edges and fill out your, it beats having to redesign from scratch. Okay, so it allows you to have folders for your design, it allows you to have folders for your photos, unlimited number of folders. It allows you to have more theme rows, so you can add many more themes to your Canva, in case you're not the only one creating the designs. It allows you to download designs with transparent backgrounds. Okay, so for instance, you want to create a logo, you would obviously love for it to have, you obviously want for it to have transparent backgrounds. You can't do that on Canva, the free plan. You can only do that with Canva Pro. And it also allows you to create animations. Very nice feature that I haven't really exhausted, but it's a very nice feature. And then it gives you free content, and it can allow you to lock an element so nobody can move it around. Okay, so those are the differences between Canva Free and Canva Pro. Canva Pro is $11.57 or there, but let's just say $12 a month. $12 is under 5K a month. So if it is something that you you use a lot and you're particular about a couple of things here, then it's a worthy investment. But then I must tell you that I didn't start with Canva Pro. It took me a while to start with Canva Pro. I started with free, and I was able to create nice designs with the free option. Okay, so here are a couple of resources for you. Let's just quickly go back to colors.co and see if, okay, great, so it has uploaded our image. So let us just say this blush here is the color that we're looking for. Let's click on it. You can see it has, this is the code for this particular color. So you click OK, and then it will generate a palette for you. Now this is the color that we chose. So the first thing you want to do with the main color that you chose is to lock it. So you click lock here. Okay, and so I don't know, I honestly am not feeling any of these colors here, so I'm just going to click the space bar and it will give me 4 new colors. Perfect. Okay, so I think I'm leaning towards this purple. I love purple, so I'm just going to drag it next to the one that I chose, this one, and I can see that it's a nice fit, right? Can't you see? I think, let me just drag this one close to it and see what it looks like. No, okay, so I think I'm liking this for now, and I'm going to do what I'm going to lock it into. So when I click the space bar again, these 2 colors will not be changing, to just be changing these 3. Okay, so let's click the space bar again and see what options it gives me. Nope. 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 Okay. Nope. Nope. Okay, so I think I'm liking this fire engine red. This looks good. This kind of looks good. Let's put it in between here and see what comes up. I kind of like it. Okay, so for the purpose of this class, I'm just going to lock this in and lock this in. I think this is a nice color palette. Remember that I told you that you have a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5. So this looks good to me, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so you have an accent color, you have complementary colors, and you have a neutral color. That's how it should be. Now you're just going to come here, click export, and download it as PG. Okay, that's about it. So basically that's how you save your color palette. Now if you look closely, like I wanted to show you this to be able to replicate this exact shade next time, you need to know what these colors are. Know these colors, know this color, know this color. Okay, know them. Now when you go back to the brand kits that I shared with you, where you saw those colors, this is what you put in. Okay, so I'm actually going to do that brand kit right before you, so that we are on the same page. Okay, so that's it for colors.co. That's how to generate a color scheme. Now let's talk about design. So you have a color palette generator, which is colors.co. We already spoke about that. Logo elements, you can find some on Creative Market. I don't think there's anything free on Creative Market. You have to buy them. 1001 fonts, I think this is free. And free pick, this is supposed to be free pick, my apologies, freepick.com. For stock photos, remember I mentioned photos being a very important aspect of your design. I've used all 3 before, and Style Stock Society was hands down one of the most feminine stock photos that I've ever found. Their blush is blush, their turquoise is turquoise, their purple is purple, their lavender is, everything is just very, very nice about it. So Hot Stock Society, very good. But I think Style Stock Society is $75 per quarter. They don't have monthly subscriptions. You need to do per quarter, and $75 is quite steep for starters. So but I find Ivory Mix to be my favorite of all times, because I have loads of pictures. I have access to. You want to sleep? I should do it. Okay, Ivory Mix, I have access to loads and loads and loads of images, and then it is very, very, very affordable. I think, I don't want to give you a price that is not correct, but I think it was $47, or was it $37 for 3 months the last time I subscribed. So it doesn't have to be an ongoing subscription. You can just subscribe once, get as many images as you want, and not subscribe again. Another person who you could get stock photo subscription from is Jam Marketing on Instagram. I think their subscription is $30 a month, which I think is quite, well, it's okay, because they have nice images. Okay, so for fonts, you can also get fonts on Creative Market. I've finished it now. You can get fonts on Creative Market, 101 free fonts, and fontsbundles.com. You can get free fonts from those places. Now, if you're looking for design inspiration, Creative Market is a great place. Pinterest is also a great place to get design inspiration. Now, if you're the type that wants to use stock photos and you don't want to pay for subscriptions, here's my advice. Go to ivorymix.com or stylestocksociety.com and sign up for their newsletters. They will send you a minimum of 10, I think, free images every month. But you can also visit pexels.com, banimages.com, pixabay.com. You'll definitely find free stock photos for you to use. Okay, so that's about it. Canva. Okay, so let's get down into today's let's get to it today. So let's quickly get familiar with that. So this particular one. I have two accounts. One is of course Canva Pro, but this one I've been using with a couple of my siblings. And gosh, it's Canva for free, but like they've been using my paid images and all that, and so I decided to open another one. So I'm using this Canva, this free option for the tutorial, because I believe you'd want to start with your free option before um, you might consider signing up for Canva Pro. So let's quickly get started. So here is where you call your dashboard. Okay, the first place you see here is create a design. You can click this place to create any design, but as you see, this is my home. Here you find all my designs. Here you find photos. Here you find my brand kit. So if you're using Canva Pro, this is where your brand kit will be. Design school is where you can find Canva design inspirations. Okay, like I mentioned, you have folders. These are the ones people have shared with me. Maybe they shared a couple of designs with me. These are like probably the folders. Yes, you can see A-list, virtual assistant, graphic design elements, blah blah blah. And of course, this is the trash. As you can see, this here is the upgrade button, which tells you that this is a free version. Okay, so here you can find, one thing I like about Canva is the pre-designed templates rather. So you remember that social media platforms have different image sizes. So you want to pick the appropriate image size for the individual platforms. Now you don't need to start thinking about you don't need to think about you don't need to start doing research on the appropriate social media appropriate image platform for one platform or the other. Okay, because it's Canva already has all those here for you. So you can see your poster, email header, Facebook app ad, worksheet, Facebook ad, Instagram logo, blah blah blah. So here is another aspect that I want you to notice, because here you can create custom dimensions. So if you want a particular dimension that is not pre-designed, right, there's not a pre-designed size or dimension that Canva already has, you can actually click custom dimensions here and input the width and the height. And if you're doing that in pixels, inches, millimeters, centimeters, whatever it is, you need to pick it and create your design. So I'm going to start my design today first by creating an Instagram post. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two Instagram posts, one working with a template and another one working from scratch. Working with a template, the other one I'll be designing from scratch. Okay, so just click Instagram post here and it will open up a new window. Network. Okay, so as you can see, this is a blank canvas for you to create your design or whatever it is. So let's quickly get familiar with this up here. So you have your home, which is where we're coming from. Here is the magic resize button, but as you can see, it has this up here which tells you that you don't have this option. You can't resize on the free option. Here you have the name of your design. So let's just write our designs and click Canva tutorial. Okay, So here is your share button. You can click this to share and copy the link and share this particular design with somebody so that they can edit it. Here you can click, this is your download button. Okay, so here you can download your file in PNG, or you can download it in PDF or animation, like I told you, which you can only do on Canva Pro. Or you can choose to download it as in other options like a presentation. You can actually download it. Without downloading, you can actually share to a Facebook group or a Facebook page, or to Twitter, or to an email, or you can make an animation, which of course is, as you see this button here, is not applicable on this plan. You can actually save it directly to your Google Drive, to Dropbox, to your Microsoft OneDrive. You can send it to MailChimp, to Pinterest. Like, the list is endless. Okay, so it's possibly integrated with a gazillion other things. You can also download it in Microsoft PowerPoint form. Of course, it's in beta, but like, it's an option. Okay, so that's that. Here you would see this is what we call templates. Now these are pre-designed. All you need to do is click on one of those designs and edit. Okay, before we do that, here you find your photos. Now if you click on this here, you will be given loads and loads of images in different categories for you to pick from. So as you can see, you have fireworks, you have food, you have summer. Okay, and then you also have the images that are trending, and some of these images are for sale. I need to mention that, okay, because I see a lot of people create Canva designs, and those designs are watermarked. You see, they use images that are watermarked, and they still go ahead and they use it. So once you know it's terrible, number one, it means you're using an image that you haven't paid for. It also shows that you are not a professional. So I'm trying to find, if I look for an image, I want to show you what an image that is paid for looks like. Okay, so fine, see one here. This is it. You have to click on this. It's premium image. You can only purchase it for $1. So if you use an image like this, let's just click on it, you will see that it has some kind of watermark on it. Can you see this now? Can you see this line here that crosses this way? It's a watermark. See Canva written here. This is a watermark. This is what the original image looks like. But because it's a paid image and I haven't paid for it, a premium image that I haven't paid for, it has these lines across it. This lines means don't use this image. It is not free. If you pay for this image, these lines automatically go off. Okay, so please don't do that. I need to state it because I see a lot of people do it day in, day out. So here you find the elements. On your elements here, you have different elements. You have your grids. Now those grids here are very, very versatile. You can just click on it and input your images. All this shows that you can put images in them. This one has two side by side, means you can put two different images, one here, and the list is endless. You can use this for your charts if you're creating a presentation. This is a frame. You can see that it's also for images. Here you have shapes, you have gradients, you have lines, you have illustrations. The list is endless. Here you come here, this is where you input your text. Now a lot of this text, you as you can see here, this one says add some text here and then pick a template, right? Basically you can do this, which is actually just write a text box from scratch, or you can choose pre-designed text boxes. As you can see, this one already has this is sans serif font. This is serif font and a sans serif font. Both of them have been designed, so you can just pick one of them and edit. It already looks good for you. Or you can go ahead and add a text box like this one by clicking here, and then arrange your text the way you want. Remember I mentioned earlier during the Canva, the theory part, I said play with your fonts and use your fonts to create interest. So that's what's going on here. Here you can change the background of your design. Can you see these are loads and loads of designs for you to use. Here are your uploads. Now this is where you upload your own images. For you to be able to use an image or any image on Canva at all, you need to upload them first from your computer or from your drive or whatever it is. You need to upload them first. Okay, so these are images that have been uploaded in the past. These folders are for, can you see, you only have the ones you liked or the ones you purchased. Every other thing belongs, you can't access them because this is not Canva Pro. Okay, so now let's quickly come here before we create. I know you're itching to create the design. So here you have your fonts. You can make a selection of any font it is you like. In the past, I know I tried out, this was the account that I used when I tried out Canva Pro first. So I had the chance to upload some fonts. So here you can see uploaded fonts. These were the fonts that I uploaded. I think I uploaded up to 10 or 15 fonts. I don't know what the sound is going on. Okay, but these are the fonts that come with Canva. Okay. Here you have the font size. You can actually choose the font size here. This of course means what's this? Color, right? I forgot that for an instance. So this is where you impute your colors. So as you can see, I already have some brand colors here. If you know me, well, these are my brand colors. But you can you can try blue, or you can put in your code. So if you have a code, this is where you put it in, right? And then that's how it goes. So here you have your bold, of course. So your C, sorry, come, hey. So here is your italics, and this is what you use to align your designs. This, you can change your text from lowercase to uppercase. Clicking this, you can add bullets here. This spacing here allows you to increase or reduce the space between the letters. Let me just quickly show you. Can you see what's going on? The space is increased between the letters, or the line, right? Instead of clicking enter, just increase the line height. That's all. Here is copy. So if you want to make a copy of your text, just click copy. Yes. You want to drive it. Let her drive it. Your position here, you can send your design to the back, whether your content or whatever, you can send it to the back or you can send it forward. Here is for transparency. You use this to reduce the transparency of anything you have selected. Whatever it is you have highlighted, you can use, all these options come up for them. Here is where you can include your link. Now, this is going to be very important when you're designing your portfolio. Now, remember that I mentioned you could lock your elements. So when you click lock, it means this element is never moving and it can never be edited. Okay, can you see it's locked? So all the options to edit it has gone off until you unlock it, right? And of course, this is the delete button. So I believe that I've been explicit enough. Have I not? Okay, so let's edit. Now, I told you I'll start first with a template before I go ahead and create a fresh design. This is straightforward enough. Now, the problem that I have with editing templates is this: there are millions of people using Canva. The possibility is higher that a lot of them will pick the same kind of design that you have picked. So have you gone to Instagram before and you realize a lot of people are using the same design, but even though they have different colors, they have different words, but the basic design is the same, right? That's what happens. Okay, so now I've just clicked this. Let me just quickly edit this. So in order to edit any elements on your canvas, you need to click it first. So I'm going to start with the image. I'm going to click this image here. As you can see, it has this what I showed you before, which means that it has a watermark. It's not a free image. Okay, so I'm going to click this here, and then I'm going to come to photos. Or you don't have to come to photos. Actually, you can just click that button and you can search for anything at all. So I'm going to search for let's see, I'll search for purple flowers, and it will give me loads and loads of options. So as you can see, I have some options here, but you can see this one has, this is pro, this is pro. So yours is stop it. This is a free image. My God. To your stop right now. Did you hear me? Good. This is pro 2. This incidentally is a free image, but it will not work for what I need it to work for right now, but I guess it will work later. Let's just look for something that we can use that is free but will work for us. So I think I'm just going to go with this. This is a free image, so I'm just going to click on it. Great. So now I'm just going to drag it and fill in the back end here. Okay. So sometimes it responds immediately, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, just click on it. Now it will give you options to edit. Now come to the position here and send it to the back. Backwards. Backwards. Good. So right now it is behind all these elements that are, stopping it from it. So let's try again. Okay, so it means this thing is not, this is just an image. So what you can do is this: you have two options. You can either click an image box, or you just pick this and drag it. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag it till it fills my background. Okay, so I think this is okay. Now that I have this, obviously this color is off. So remember I said if you want to edit any elements on Canva, all you need to do is just click on it, and everything that can be edited will come up. So click on this mustard color here, and let's look for let's see if a purple color will work. Would it be too dark? No, it isn't too dark. Now I like this. Okay, so just click on that color and this is fine. Right, so here you already have a box in here, which is quite nice. Now that it was, as I clicked on this, now look at the options it gave me. It gave me on group, which means that all of these have been grouped together as one. So what you want to do is click on group so that you can edit each of them individually. Okay, does that make sense? So here you can see this. You can actually change this, although it's good as it is white color, but just so that I can show you the things that you can do. You can change the color like I just did. I just changed it to pink. Can you see? It looks nice. Now that I can change these words here. Okay, look at it now. The same thing has happened. Immediately I clicked on it, you see this line here. It tells me that all of these words inside this place have been grouped together. So I need to ungroup them to be able to edit them, especially if I'm a beginner. If I'm not a beginner, I can easily do that. But for beginners, which the class is for, you need to ungroup them to be able to edit them individually. So here we're going to talk about, let's call this Canva tutorial. Canva tutorial. Nice. Okay, so here I can come and change the font if I like. Once you click on it, you can change the fonts by clicking multiple, this side here where you see multiple fonts, and clicking a font that works for you. Let's just change it for the fun of it. Can you see new fonts? Okay, so here you see lemon squeeze. This is obviously a dark color. I think I would like to make it a white. Remember what I said about contrast? Make sure that you use white words on a dark background. Okay, white background, nice, that's good. Okay, so here now we have a fresh design. So all we did was to pick a template and we customized it. Nice. So if you want to download this, you come here, you click download, and you download it in PDF, PNG rather. That's an image format. Okay, nice. Okay, so that's done and dusted. The next thing I would want to do is create a design from scratch. So here I'm going to click add new page. Right, so I'm just going to delete this background here and come to the element here and click the grid, which is this. What this will do is it will just fill up my canvas at once, and then I'm going to come here. Then I want to pick an upload. Then let's use free images for today. And I'm going to click this nice lovely image here. Okay, so I'm just going to drag it in and it automatically fill the page. Nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I don't like this flower where it is. It's at the top. I want it on the bottom, and so I'm going to come here and flip. So I can flip horizontal, I can flip vertical, and I'm going to go vertical. So now I have my image on the bottom of the screen here, which is quite nice. I'm going to go with text now. I think that, like I mentioned to you the last time, see, an image can make all the difference in your design. Sometimes all you need is just the image and a couple of words and you're good to go. Right? So let me pick this. And I'm just going to drag it at the end here. Now the beauty of this is you can just double click on it and it will let you see if you have more space at the top and at the bottom. And so I'm going to like just bring it lower a little more because I need space for my words. Okay, so now I'm going to ungroup this so that I can edit it. So here I have this 27. I'm just going to change it to tutorial. And I think I'm going to let's see if I can do something. Let me see, something just occurred to me right now. Okay, so you have loads of design elements. I'm just going to quickly show you a couple of things that you can do. here I'm just going to look for a circle. I'm going to click circle, which is a shortcut. Instead of having to go to elements and then clicking on shapes and all that, I think I'm just going to click circle. What's going on? Oh no, sorry, elements. Right, so this is circle here. I'm just going to drag the edge here to reduce it. Now, like I said, you can drag the edge to increase or to reduce. It all depends on what you're looking to do. Okay. So here, I'm just going to put this right in the middle. Now, I want you to watch something. If you look at the screen closely, you see a purple dotted line that goes straight. Now, that tells me that my circle is centered, okay? So if I was looking to put this right in the middle of my design, can you see? Can you see now? I have the line coming down vertically and horizontally. This tells me that my design, the circle, is directly in the middle of my canvas, which is what makes the difference between a good design and a great design. Like I said, make sure that everything is aligned. So I'm just going to put this in the middle, and I'm going to change the color to purple. Okay, so now I'm going to put words here. You can either choose to come to text, or you can just click T on your keyboard and your words will come up. So I'm just going to write Canva here. Canva. And I'm going to make it a white color. And I'm going to change the font to I'm going to increase the size. I can drag the edge here. I can choose to drag the edge, or I can choose to come here to increase the size, anyone I like. So I'm just going to drag this right into my circle. Okay, fine. So this is extremely simple, but I believe you would agree with me that it's also quite funny. Now you could see that the Canva here is designed, and then the tutorial is like the focus, the main word, and then you have a single flower coming out here, okay, just for ease. So this is like starting afresh. You have, this is like creating a design from scratch. It's quite simple. It can be quite simple. It doesn't really have to be that hard. Now, if you wanted to create something like this from scratch, which is one of the most popular designs that I know of, I'm just going to quickly create one so that you're not stuck. Your grid again, and then you can come to your uploads, or you can choose to go to photos, and let's do what do we do for a change? I honestly don't know what picture to do for a change. Let me just pick something from one of my. Like I said, when you're using overlays, you're using them possibly because the image that you're writing over is already a busy image. If you notice, the last one we just did had a lot of white space, so we didn't need that overlay. It's very nice. But when you're using a busy image image as your background, then you might need to use an overlay. Okay, so for the life of me, I can't find an image. Okay, let me just, when you want to upload an image, click here to upload an image. I don't think I mentioned that. So it will just take you to your computer, you pick wherever your image is from, maybe from your download button, or it's from your desktop button, or whatever it is. You have something right there. Okay, let's just use this. Okay, so you just drag it and it automatically fill out. Okay, so this is white space to use. I just want to have a lot more on my background. So I'm just going to double click on it. It's going to let me know if I have space up or space down or space to the side. So here I'm just going to move. I think this is going to pay me. I can even drag the edges and increase it, right, and come back and get till I have what I'm really looking for. That's one reason why I need to use high resolution stock photos, because you know, sometimes you want to drag and crop a particular image. If it's not a high resolution stock photo you're going to use it, it's going to become extremely blurry, right? We don't want that. So here I'm going to come to elements and I'm going to click a square. I think this is one. Okay, great. So as you can see, it already covers the post. And I think it covers it a little too much. I'm just going to reduce this. Remember, you need to center your design. I'm going to change the color here to white. And I'm going to reduce the transparency so that I can see a little of the image I have in the background, right? Okay, good. So here I can come to square frames, which is what I'm looking for. I'm just going to click this one. Now this is where the trick actually lies. Now as you can see, it's quite thick. Let me change the color so that you can see how thick it is. I'm going to change it to purple. So let's see how thick it is. Can you see it's a very thick line? So if you want to reduce the thickness, now not the length, the thickness, what you need to do first is drag one edge and make it a tiny box. The tinier it gets, the tinier the edges will be. So can you see now? So you have a tinier. Now what you want to do now is like just come that's sorted. So now I want to increase the size of this one. If you drag this edge out, it will get thicker. We don't want that. We just want to increase the length, okay? now you have like a thinner box as a frame for your design. So what I'm going to do now is I am changing my mind about the white here in the middle. I'm just going to, I want to be able to touch it. So I'm going to drag this away from the main face because it's the last one. So it's over it. You have to be able to click on what you want to edit, you know, for the options, for the edit options to come up. So let's say if we change the color of this and make it a darker color and see what it looks like. Okay. So I'm just going to drag this back and ensure that it is centered. Can you see the lines? It shows that everything here is centered. I can take it a step further and copy this, right? And reduce the size so that it can fit inside the box rather than outside the box. Okay. So now it's time to add your words. You can add your text. Include your logo. You can add your logo somewhere here. You know, and in the middle here or at the edge. So you can always locate your words in here and edit them accordingly, right? So that's how you create something similar from scratch. So I think, gosh, I think that we've got that covered, okay? That's about it. So now it's time to create let's edit the brand kits, okay, so that you know what to do, and then you go ahead and create the logo. I think even my laptop is tired. We've been at this now for more than an hour, about, and I want to keep it short. I want to keep it at about 1 hour 30 minutes or thereabouts, so it should be done soon. So here's the brand kit. So this was the brand kit that I shared with you. This is going to be the first activity you do using Canva. Okay, so basically this is where your logo should be, which we'll design very soon. Now if you are not using Canva for Pro, you will have to download your logo with a background. So you go to gosh, what's this app? There's an app, please remind me. There's an app on the internet that you can use to remove the background on any image so that you have a transparent logo background. So this is where I want you to put your background. Here you're going to give me your brand name, and then I told you need to select two fonts. So the first font, what's it called? You write it here. The second font, what's it called? You write it here. And of course you write down now this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, everything. I don't want you to please send them back to me the way I have given it to you. You need to fill it out. You need to fill it out. Can you see? You fill it out in your font. This is one of the ways to know if your font is going to work. Okay, so you fill it out in your font. You have A, B, C, D in caps. You have up to W. You have A, B, C, D up to Z in small letters. Then you have numbers for both of your logos. Now you're going to pick images that are complementary. Go find them on Pixabay, Pexels.com, or go sign up for any of Ivy Mix or Style Stock Society. Sign up for their newsletters. They send you images immediately. Now remember, your images must complement each other and they must work with your brand. Okay, so they have to include images that work with your brand. Here you're going to put your image, your colors. You're going to click on this, okay, and change the color here. Clicking on this and change the color by inputting your codes. Okay, so you do that for every single one based on the colors you have generated on colors.co. You need to do that, and then you also have to write out whatever your color code is. You write out your color codes here. Write out the color codes here. So you're supposed to pick a minimum of 3, a maximum of 5. I'll advise that you pick the 5 codes, that the 5 colors based on the colors.co what's it called now, tutorial that we have held, and impute your colors here. So when you're imputing your colors, you just click on it and then you impute your colors. Be sure to write out the codes. Now when you are done, this is what it would look like. It looks very beautiful, trust me. So you put up your logo here. This is supposed to be an image. This is your brand name. Pick your fonts like I already said. And when you are done, basically Canva believes that when you're downloading an image like this, you should download it in PNG format. So when you come here, in PDF format rather. So when you come here, don't allow it to pick PDF for you. Ensure that you're downloading in PNG, because you are expected to put those images. I'm expecting you rather to put up this brand kit on Facebook for us all to see. That's the activity for today's class. Okay, so that's it basically. Now for the final 1 hour 30 minutes long training, we're going to design a logo from scratch. Now I mentioned during the class this evening that the logo can be initials of your business. You can choose to use the name of your business, or you can choose to use an element or an icon. So let's just come here and click the logo template on Canva. network is so slow, even though we are running it at night. I just wonder what would have happened if it was a daytime presentation. Okay, so like I said earlier on, whenever you're creating a design on Canva, you can choose to use a template or you can choose to design your graphic afresh. But sometimes when you're creating logos, sometimes templates are like your best options, because if you're not a branding guru or a design guru, designing something from scratch can be a little daunting. So you want to create a logo, you want to pick a template and edit accordingly. And then here you have Canva has separated your logos. You have logos for people who are into food and drink. You have educational logo. You have sports logo. So you have restaurant logo. You have cafe logo, DJ logo, recreation logo. So like the list is endless. So let's just go around and look for something that works for us. Usually the attorney logo is always a great idea for us, because you just use your name or whatever name it is you want to use, blah blah blah. And so I think we can just look for something nice and pick out of all this. So I think I'm just going to go for either the attorney logo or the educational logo. And then I think I'm just going, let's see what we have under educational logo. Okay, so I already saw one that I like, but let's just go through. Let's just go through. Let's click on it, and it will come up on your canvas, and then you can edit it. So, for instance, now you choose if your name is let's use a list. We have a list, virtual assistant. So what I'm going to do, I already mentioned, I think I spoke about grouping in the past. So what I'm going to do is, this allows me to edit this particular word on its own. So I think I would like to drag this box a little more and reduce my font. I can go ahead and change my, what's it called now? My font, if I don't like it, and look for something else. Okay, let's use something. Let's look something. Let's look for something a little exotic. Since it's a logo, like it's meant to be a little different, let's use Citrica. I think it's Citrica. Let's see what Citrica looks like. Now, bear in mind that this font doesn't come from Canva. It's an imported font. It's a font that I downloaded for free and I uploaded to Canva. Okay, I'm not liking this. I think the scissor was fine. I think what I'll just do is I'll make it bold. Let's see if it's a bold font, if it will look better. Okay, I think I like this better. I'm going to reduce the font so everything is on the straight line. That's great. So I have AB's virtual assistant. Can you see this AB standing out? So I already know what my initials here is going to be. So it's going to be AB. Okay, here we go. You can see that this is nice. If I may say so myself, and all I did was use a template that already exists, and I have created something that I can call my own. Now I can choose to include a couple of elements so that it's totally different from what we initially saw. I'm just going to increase this. I think I want to do a little bigger, and I can just include a line. Let's go. I can just one line can make all the difference. Let's click line here. So I'm just going to come to this search button and click line. So whatever it is you're looking for on Canva, just come to the appropriate place and click search button and you'll find something nice to use. Okay, so I'm just going to put this line here. Now where do I put my line? Number one, this line is a little too thick for me. So remember I said you want to make any element that is too thick. If you want to make it tiny, all you need to do is drag it. Okay. Just something to make it a little different, because you're using a template that a lot of people already have. So your choice of colors when you're using elements on your template will be determined by the colors of your. So here you go. This is a nice logo. You can choose to use it like this, or choose to create this on its own. Let's see, let's just copy. You can duplicate a page, so you can duplicate a design. I don't have to design it from scratch in case I didn't mention that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click all this and delete them. Okay, so here I have my so you can choose to actually create this on its own. So this is another variation of your logo. Does that make sense? This is nice, and it says so myself. So you can choose to use this variation of your logo on a couple of your designs, or you can choose to use the one that has full name. So if you're creating a design and you want to see what it looks like without all the hula baloo, or you just want to see the image, you can just click on that button and you see the full screen of the image that you have created. So let's see the first one that we designed. It's manageable, something that we can use. And the only thing was that a bad logo is no logo, trust me. So just create something nice that you can use for yourself in the meantime while you create design. So I'm tired. Thank you. I've been at this for a while. So I hope you guys are able to create your color palette, design a logo, fill in your brand kits, and start designing documents or creating designs for your social media pages. So that's about it. I think I've covered everything, have I? Okay, so I'll see you guys, I think on Monday. Are we saying tomorrow? No, we're saying on Monday. Please send your activities in. When did they post my video? Okay, so your activities are due Sunday. Please upload them to the Facebook group. Okay, remember to download it as PNG and not as PDF. Okay, all right, so have a great evening, guys, or see you tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.